Hey guys, it's Phil coming back at you with another video. Hope everyone's doing good and feeling great and taking care of themselves in this time. And I'm super duper excited to announce that people are back testing. People are killing it. They're accomplishing their goals. And since my last video, 25 people have passed their exam, and they are as follows. We have Nicole M, Aubrey D, Denise B, Paula A, Annette B, Asha F, Tanya B, Sony J, Vanessa S, Genesis LC, Holly A, Rob J, Charles B, Debbie A, Jessica K, Amy J, Catherine F, Kim PW, Heidi H, Angelique R, Katie A, Claire S, Mark D, Paula D, and Jane G. I'm so excited, man, because people are back testing, people are back slicing and cutting necks and getting what they want to see done. And for those that are wondering, like, people, are they testing? Yes, they are. They are getting the job done. And it depends on the state that you're in, whether you're able to test or not. But that's why I always tell people, do not get ready when the opportunity comes. Stay ready, stay prepared, and act like your exam is coming in the near future, because if you take your foot off the pedal, there's no guarantees that you're going to be able to get back into the situation, because it's way easier to be prepared and ready when the opportunity comes, so that way when the opportunity does come, you're not like fumbling and having to like panic and get into the moment. So getting your mind wrapped around the opportunity, even though it may not be foreseeable for you, make sure that you're envisioning what it will be like and what your routine is going to be and what you want to see for yourself and how to get that done. And if you're still preparing and you want to rock with me, my next Sunday study groups are as follows. 517, group and family therapy. 524, meds and DSM-5. That's where we're going to be going over all the possible medications and comparing them back to the diagnosis that you could see with them. Of course, it's not going to go every single med, but it is going to go over the most common ones. 531, practice questions, and this is going to be another set of practice questions that I'm going to be tearing apart, showing you guys how to analyze and dissect them to get to the best possible answer at that given moment. 6-7, research, program development, and evaluation. 614, acronym and practice questions, and in that one, I'm going to go over each level of the acronym and then compare them to practice questions to see how you would relate to them. And then 621, human developmental theories, and 628, community interventions. And if you want any information for that or have questions about them in any way, send me an email at berda24@gmail.com. And I do still offer individual tutoring for those that are wondering, and there'll be information for that in the description, as well as if you want to ask me directly. My email is berda24@gmail.com. And for those that do not know, Audible has agreed to partner with both my podcast and YouTube videos. So if you want to support me as well as support them, go to my affiliate link at audibletrial.com/fillinthegaps. Information for that will be in the description as well. And the way that you support me is sign up for that 30-day free trial. Get your free book, because when you are trying to advance yourself or coping via reading, super duper easy to just sit and listen, because it's way too difficult to be doing multiple things at the same time while wanting to sit down and read a book. So Audible is an easy way to make that happen. And if you're like, Phil, I have no clue what book I should get, I have 3 suggestions, and 2 of them I've suggested in the past, but I'm going to try cycling in new books as I am reading them, as well as thinking about good books that could be helpful for you guys. So the books that I would suggest are The Alchemist, To Kill a Mockingbird, and Power of a Habit. And again, the way that you support me is go to audibletrial.com/fillinthegaps, sign up for the 30-day free trial, get your free book, and it's just an easy way to support me, and it costs you nothing. And if you want to rock with me in a different way, I do have a podcast. For those that don't know, it's on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, and it's at Fill in the Gaps as well. Go to my Facebook page to get up-to-date information, and as I share that as well, and that is also at Fill in the Gaps. And I've been getting a lot of feedback from people, and they're like, Phil, I'm not really sure what to do. I'm feeling unmotivated. I just can't handle what is going on at this moment. It's a lot coming at me. And for those of you that think it is over, or that your motivation is gone, or that you can't do it, or you can't find balance, let go of where you thought you would be at this moment. Embrace where you're at, because at the end of the day, as long as you are thinking about where you want to go, you're going to be closer to where you want to be within the next day if you put forth energy. So doing something that you feel like your future self would reward you today doing, push yourself to get that done, because it all starts with being able to do what you want. And a lot of times people get unmotivated because they don't know when their exam's coming up. They don't know what to expect, or they're now doing at homework and they're like in every situation. So it just starts with getting what's going on. So we don't know when this is going to end or when testing sites are going to open wide gate again. So being prepared and opening your mind up to, we are just getting started. So I need to start doing what I want to see for my situation. In that way, again, as I said earlier in the video, you don't have to get ready if you stay ready and prepared for the opportunity. So avoid any impulsive moves or impulsive decisions or anything like that, because when you get into a desperate mindset, you make desperate moves. And that doesn't mean like desperate as in the fact that you're needing it, but as humans, we need to have certainty. So you may try to create certainty, or like, dude, I may not be able to test for months. I have a testing date tomorrow. I should just take the one tomorrow. And that may not be the best decision. It may be the best decision, but sitting down with yourself and reflecting and saying, what would my future self want to see for myself? So if you sign up for a test date that's super soon because you feel like you're not going to test, that may not be the truth, because people are dropping out and rescheduling all the time. So again, I would better be suited and feel better if I were in the situation of, let me stay ready, and if an opportunity or a date comes up where I want to take the test, I'm better off than making an impulsive decision and regretting it afterwards. Because if you walk into the exam and it slugs you in the mouth and you didn't feel prepared and you just wanted to get it on the books, you're going to feel worse off than if you would have paused, reflected, so understood what you wanted to see in the situation, and then came back and made a sound decision. So don't run from adversity. Embrace the adversity and create more of a centralized system or situation that you know what to expect. And I have to create new routines all the time. I'm not used to all the things that are hopping all around. And trying to upload a video right now is kind of difficult for me, because normally I'd be thinking of ideas as I'm driving. I'm thinking of ideas as I'm showering. I'm doing all these things. I'm at my house 100% of the time. I don't really have the time to think of outside of, okay, I have notes to do. I have clients to see. I have this to do. I have emails and stuff. But again, I have to push myself and create a routine that feels comfortable for me, not whatever anyone else is telling me to do. So again, staying in that centralized situation, creating certainty, and creating what you want to see for your situation is going to be more helpful than kind of like just shooting from the hip and doing whatever you want. And again, if you want assistance from me or need help in any way, send me an email at berda24@gmail.com. Hop onto the Sunday study groups, and they are again 517 Group and Family Therapy, 524 Meds and DSM-5, 531 Practice Questions, 67 Research, Program Development and Program Evaluation, 614 Acronym and Practice Questions, 621 Human Developmental Theories, and 628 Community Interventions. And from the bottom of my heart, guys, I appreciate every single one of you, whether you've just watched my videos, whether you're in the study groups, whether you're doing tutoring, whether you're just sharing my name, listening to the podcast. From the bottom of my heart, as I mean it, you are awesome and amazing, and without you guys, there would not be me. Go to my Audible affiliate link if you want to get a book and start advancing and obtaining information that way. And that, again, is audibletrial.com/fill-in-the-gaps. Give this video a like if you've been liking what I've been producing. It just is an easy way for other people to find out about the videos. Comment down below what you're thinking or what you're struggling with, so other people, including myself, can kind of hop in and give that feedback. Subscribe down below and hit that bell next to it, because it'll give you a leg up, because I am doing a free study group this Saturday, 5/16 at 6 p.m. Eastern time. And I'll do another video for that, but subscribing and hitting that little bell will send you an email when I do that, because it's going to be a new process of how to register for that study group. And it's my way to give back to you guys, as well as help you guys process and support you as much as I possibly can at this time, because it's a very stressful time. And like I said, guys, I appreciate every single one of you from the bottom of my heart. Take care of your guys' self. Do one kind thing for yourself, even though you're trying to grind and get to where you want to go. Take care, guys. I'll see you in the next video. And peace out, guys. All right, failed in August, had to wait 90 days, and I've lost motivation.
Hi, Phil. Can you hear me?
Yeah, how's it going? How's it going?
Hey, I actually took a couple of sessions with you probably about a month or about 3 weeks before I went in for my first try. And I missed it by 4. I'm not sure if that's bad or good or um, I actually found you towards the end of my study. So I think I probably would like to maybe try some individual studying with you or maybe hone in on some of the groups. But I, after the 90-day wait, I kind of lost my momentum and I'm just deciding to start back studying, I guess as a New Year's resolution. But I've just had a lot of anxiety. I actually went in with 2 of my cohorts, and both of them passed, and I didn't. And out of my whole group, it was 5 of us, and I'm one of the last 2 that have not passed the test. That doesn't really bother me so much because I have a lot of motivation and encouragement from my cohorts. But I think it's just me because I've had another major test that I've taken in the past and I didn't pass it and I never went back to take it. But I have decided to go back and give this another shot for my licensure. But it's just the waiting period of 90 days that I lost my momentum. I didn't study anything. I didn't pick anything up. I tried to, but I couldn't. Um, Even now, sometimes when I talk about it with my cohorts, I actually just start getting sick at the thought of starting to study again. Um, so I'm really not sure where I am right now, Phil. I've been listening while I was at work today to a lot of your podcast. I was able to listen to that and a couple of other YouTube videos. So I'm trying to motivate myself. Um, but I would say um, the few videos that I have used from your studies and the ABGAR and the pocket prep, those 3 things really helped. And I think I got as far as I did because of those things. So, but right now, I have no motivation. I'm just not really sure where I am. I'm not in a good place right now. I'm trying to be. I'm trying to motivate myself. So that's why I'm here for your motivation.
So first off, thank you for the support. Thanks for rocking. And let me ask you this. What is standing between you and picking up the materials and being excited for taking the test again?
It's me. I know that it's me. It's something. I I had another major exam that I have taken in the past. It was a national board exam. And I just keep thinking back to that. But I'm trying to erase that out of my memory. And I know what I did that time. I did not go back to take the test. And I'm trying to fight through that this time on my licensure. Um, this time I have said I will go back and take this test and I will look at the things that I did not do when I studied for my licensure a few months ago. Um, but I really think that I'm standing in my way. Um,
So
I just,
what I would say is let go. Let go of what used to be or what you think needs to happen and start living with what you're supposed to be doing right now. You failing the test is tragic, but that previous test that you didn't go back and take is adding to the story of what is right now, and you have to almost have a funeral and bury it in the backyard and let go of what you did not do before and start focusing in what you have to do right now.
right,
Like it's not about the past anymore, because if you
right,
live in the past, you're going to get past. And
right.
the fact that you are talking to people about your past failures, and when they bring it up because it makes you sick, it makes you sick when they bring it up, is the fact that you expected it to be done by now. But there were
Mm-hmm.
lessons to be learned from failing the exam. And it was that anytime something negative happens, you assess, face, and address it in that given moment. Because if not, it's
Mm-hmm.
going to fester like a rotten egg in your house and smell up your life, smell up your potential, and destroy the confidence that you need to have to get yourself to where you're supposed to be.
Okay.
Like that lack of motivation is based on the fact that you expected yourself to be 12 steps ahead of where you're at right now, but
Yeah.
you're robbing yourself of those missions of getting that 12 steps, because going through processes that are difficult and things that we don't think that we're supposed to be doing are going to get you to maintain and sustain whatever you're going towards. So that lack of motivation is based on the fact that you thought that you could have came back and redeemed the 2 previous exams. You have to let them go and say, this exam is the only focus in my mind. I tried my best in the other ones. I left it all on the table, and I'm not going to run from it anymore, because I need to run towards it, because that's what I want in this given moment. So every time that you think
Mm-hmm.
that I am not able to do this, you have to remind yourself that's who I once was. That was who I was yesterday, but I'm better prepared, I'm better equipped, and I'm fired up and I'm motivated to get myself today better in whatever that looks like.
Okay. Okay.
Because this isn't a process of I'm going to do it one day and then I'm going to be equipped for the rest of my life. It's I need to work at it every single day, even when I feel unmotivated. Because if I do a little bit when I'm unmotivated, when I'm motivated, I'm going to blow the engine out of the damn thing, because I'm so fired up based on the fact that I'm further, just based on the fact that I took one step further than I did yesterday. And that one step is going to lead me closer to the 12 that I need to take, rather than sitting down, letting myself regress away from where I'm supposed to be at, and just being where you're at in that given moment. So that is what needs to happen in order to get that motivation to spark up, is to focus on the goal in front of you, not the goals that you once had. You've outgrown those goals, you've outgrown the situation, and you need to start putting your energy in the present in order to make your future better, than rather than investing in the past and getting past by who you would have wanted to be if you started investing in the current moment right now. So that's what I would say to the lack of motivation, and how to get yourself motivated is set small goals in the current moment to build up to a giant culmination of small progresses, because small progress over time is massive progress in the long run. This isn't just a short-term thing of where I'm working today and then I'm going to take a couple off and do all this. It's I'm going to incrementally do things over time in order to show myself I can stay consistent. Even in the fire of lack of motivation, I am still going to keep doing what I'm supposed to be doing, because it shows accountability with and for where I'm at.
Okay. I agree. Okay. I'll do that.
And if you don't have it already, get yourself a notebook, get yourself a whiteboard that you write down your goal that you want to see. In every single place that you go, you have to look at it and say, what did I do today to get to where I want to be?
Exactly. You're right. I have to do that. And I have to do this for myself. I got through the master's program, and this is just the next step. This is the next level, and I think that I feel like I can do it. It's just I just need the motivation, but I'm getting there. I'm making a start um, with listening to you again and pulling books out starting next week. So it's there. I've just got to reach down and pull it out and just go forth with it.
And you don't have to do it alone. Get an accountability person. It doesn't have to be me. It could be someone else. Get somebody that's going to ask you, did you study? What did you do to get yourself further? And did you feel motivated today? And if you didn't, congrats on still pushing forth when it was difficult for you.
Right. Okay, I'll make sure I do that. Thanks so much, Phil.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing and asking the question.
Thank you.
All right. So what is a passing score? So this is a tricky question because each exam is different. However, from my experience of working with people and what I know, the range of scores that you possibly have to get to pass the exam are 106 or 96 to 106, which means that you can get 44 to 54 questions wrong. And you may be wondering, how in the heck did he do that? Because the exam is 170 questions. Well, 20 questions do not count. And we don't know the ones that don't count. So if you have to get a 96 to pass this exam, 96 plus 54 is that 150 that we're looking at to culminate the entire exam. So with that, you have to understand that if you have the 106, you can get 44 wrong. So when you're focusing on the one question or two questions you get wrong in your practice, unless you're doing 170 questions every single time that you do it, you can't necessarily tell yourself that you're not ready or better equipped to getting the job done. So your passing score can be between 96 and 106, depending on the exam that you do and that you have to look at. So with this, you don't know the 20 that you're getting wrong. So don't focus on why you're getting questions wrong or why you're getting them right, but peeling them back and understanding that not every question is the same amount of weight, because that's why the exam scores are different. Some scores require 96 because that exam is quote unquote more difficult than the other exams that require a 106 because the questions are weighted less heavily. So that's why you have to get more of them correct. So those are the passing scores that you would see on the exam. So my test day is Friday.
Okay, hi. So my name's Kenya, and I'm from Wisconsin. I heard you said you were in Michigan with the snow. We got snow last night too.
Michigan hype.
But yeah, my test day is Friday. I graduated back in 2017. I also have my undergrad in social work, so I've been in this field for a long time. I'm doing the work every day. My position doesn't necessarily, require it, but this is something that, I want to do for myself, and the only way that I can move towards the LCSW anyways. This is my first attempt at the test. I had been practicing under a temporary licensure. So I am excited yet anxious at the same time. As far as things that I have been doing, I honestly have only been studying for the last 6 weeks, and these last 2 weeks I've been going really, really hardcore. I do a meditation twice a day, specifically for the ASWB exam. I also do affirmations a few times a day, usually while I'm just working. I have my headphones in. I read the APGAR book front to back and wrote in my own voice in my notebook. So currently I'm studying my notebook, listening to some of your things on YouTube, Phil. And then I'm thinking I might take a practice exam from the back of the APGAR book tonight, or maybe in the morning. My friends want me to meet up for New Year's Eve, but I'm just like, no, every minute of the day needs to be studying from here on out. But I don't know. What would you or anyone else on the chat suggest? Would this be okay time to do something like that, being that the test is on Friday?
What would your thoughts be if you don't go and hang out with your friends and you pass the exam? And then the alternative, you go hang out with your friends and you don't pass. How would you feel? What would it be like for you if you didn't go and hang out with your friends?
Honestly, I'm okay with not going to hang out. I really don't want to do anything anyways. I'm just lazy right now. I'm okay. And I know that they are all rooting for me. They support me. And once I do pass, because I'm speaking that into existence with no alternatives, I know that they'll, celebrate. So whether we celebrate tonight or in 2 days, like, I don't think that part really matters. I think that I might just stop by to show my face briefly, but I'm just really not even in the mood. So I just kind of want to study.
Okay, then I would throttle down. And one question that I have for you is, what do you feel is left before you take your exam? What do you feel you need to do prior to leading up to Friday?
I feel like I just need to just continue to brush through. Like, to me, I'm the type of learner, like, if I read something, I got it, right? So, like, I read that book cover to cover, like, so it's in there. So me, like, just kind of going over my notebook, I think will be okay now. And then I'm just wondering if I do like a practice test tonight. And I was also thinking about purchasing the ASWB practice test. Like, I don't know, is that doing too much trying to do two in this small window of time?
Well, that depends on your personality. If you feel like you have to be doing something 100% of the time, I'll do one tonight, one tomorrow, relax after it, and then walk in and punch the exam in the throat.
Okay.
Because it seems like your personality is like, if you're not doing something 100% of the time, you feel like you're off. And that's the same personality that I have. So I just do a little bit of incremental things that I will still set me further than I would have not done anything, and then get it done. But if you, in your mind, want to do both exams, do it. Because if you go into the exam and pass, you'll never say, wow, I did too much. But if you go into the exam and don't do something and fail, you're going to say, wow, I should have done this, and this is the main reason why I didn't. So I'm a huge proponent of not leaving anything on the table or leaving anything undone. So that way you can walk in and say, I did the absolute best thing that I could have possibly have done to get the exam result that I want.
Okay. I will take that. I accept that, and I will do that. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Of course. And thank you for sharing, and thank you for being willing to engage, as well as good luck on Friday.
Thank you.
My test day is on Friday, version 2.
So it's me, it's Luttrell. I started working with you, I think, a couple of months ago. So my story is totally different. I got my master's in 2004, took the test in 2005, failed it by like 3 points, never went back and took it again, just felt discouraged. I have a really good job that don't require me to have a master's. I actually work for an EAP firm and I do the marketing. So it pays really well. I don't plan on leaving my job even after I get my license because I don't think anybody else can pay me like this. But I felt like it was time for me to do something for myself. So in 2008, my goal for 2019 was to pass a licensure exam. I brought the Don Selfcare book. I started studying with you in September and just kind of slowly made that process work for me. And so I've been in full gear for the last week or two. And I've been going out to, I don't stay very far from the public library. So they have study rooms. So I've been going in there, getting a study room for 3 hours a day, and then going back in the afternoon again for 3 hours. Just like I read that book, face value. I did the study test. The first time I got 102 right. The second time I got 117 right. I know the acronym Savvy Farmer Aladdin raises expensive apples for India, like the back of my hand. And I feel really pumped. My friends have really pumped me up to pass this test. They have really pushed me. And so I feel very confident. I hope I'm not feeling overconfident, but I just feel like it's my time.
What would make you feel like you're overconfident?
When I don't pass. And I'm confident that I am. So I feel good. I feel like I know the information. I feel like, again, when I took it 15 years ago, I was in a different space. I'm older. I understand studying. I've worked in the field, not in direct practice, but been in the field for long. So I feel pretty confident. My only fears are I guess just kind of like we talked about, removing the doubt and my biases, my own biases, and just really removing that from the situation and my thought process. And also knowing the theories. That's my biggest fear, the theories.
So you said you know the book back to front, but do you know how to apply that information when the fire comes at you? So without taking that exam again, why not peel it back and say, I didn't get 150? What did I not see? And what are things that are leading me astray? Rather than focusing on the score, focus on what makes up the score and how transferable that can be into the exam.
Right. And so that's what today when I took it, I went back and I wrote down, like the notes and stuff that I needed to go back and study, stuff that I didn't get correct, to go back in there. And actually, the theories wasn't even the issue, to be honest. Those wasn't the things. It was, of course, medication, DSM-5, and I have that to actually study. So I'm going to study for the rest of the week, and I'm going to go in there Friday, and I'm going to kill that test.
Okay. Sounds like a plan. And I would check in with yourself and say, is my current study regime maintainable for the next couple of days? Because we don't want you to be drained and not able to be the best possible version of yourself leading up to it.
Absolutely. And so I sent you a private email to see if you're available. Yeah. So if you're available, then I'm going to remove something else on my schedule and I'm going to study. I don't have any intentions of studying on Thursday. Friday, because I take the test on Thursday. So Friday I plan to not study. And just go in there with a clear mind.
Okay. Sounds like a plan. And yeah, I'll get back to you. And thanks for sharing.
Thanks.
All right. My test is January 24th, and I'm not sure how to prepare. I failed the test twice. I studied more the second time and scored a lower score. I lost motivation as well and don't know how to study anymore.
Hi, greetings from New York. I hope everyone is well. So I failed my test twice. I got my master's degree. Hi, I got my master's degree last year. So I took it, I think, July. So right after I graduated, I scored a 95 and I needed a 98. And then my second time I took it this past August and I needed a 99 and I scored an 85. So I don't know exactly what I did wrong because I studied. I actually got more materials the second time. I did the pocket prep. I did study sessions with my own friends. I had a schedule where like right after work, I would go to the gym and then I would study. I would listen to some audios. I think I definitely studied more than the first time. So I had scheduled my test, and I think I mentioned this before in one of the study groups. I had scheduled my test for the 30th, which was yesterday, but I rescheduled because of some personal issues. And I know you said, Phil, that, you had a person shared a story with you where like, a car drove into their house. So I know that there are no excuses. There should not be any excuses, but I feel that I have no motivation anymore. And I think that this relates to the second, or maybe the first question that you were saying. I think this goes back to like Kathy, how not feeling motivated to study anymore. I have all the material, but I just have zero motivation, like nothing at all for me to study. Sorry, that's too much.
At what point did you lose your confidence in your ability to actually pass this exam?
The second time. I think I was overconfident that I could pass the test because I studied more. So I definitely felt ready. I took the prep test. I said, okay, that's a good score. So I'm definitely ready. But I think I was overconfident since I failed the first time, and then the second time I studied more than the first time.
So from the sounds of it, you convince yourself that effort always equals results.
Yeah.
Well, not to be the bearer of bad news, but that's not always the case. And that first exam might have been better because you had more confidence in your ability to actually analyze and assess and address the questions. And then you went out and did like the cardinal sin, that I'll call it, and bought a ton of materials, thought that was going to supplement the deficit rather than focusing on what worked for me, what didn't work for me, and then
Right.
started grinding heavily and then walked in. And then another cardinal sin, you took the practice exam and said, I'm ready for this exam, took your foot off the gas, and then let the intensity that you built up let go because you felt like you were back to being able to do this without any assessing and addressing and facing it.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think, like I said, I definitely was overconfident, and I definitely agree with what you're saying. I kind of just, got all these material, all of these books, whatever, and then I felt that I was good to go. So right after I saw the score, obviously like my heart obviously just dropped, and then I was upset, and then I was just done, and I feel like it goes back to what you were saying as far as like me letting it go. I don't think that I let it go. And then now it's time for really, besides the new year, I'm like, okay, yeah, like I have to let it go, like I can't go back in the past and change this. And it's funny because I say that to my students, right? So now I'm like thinking to myself, like, I have to do this. Like I have scheduled it for February 27th. So now I feel like I'm going to have more time to study and actually like learn your acronym and just kind of like, review the study sessions. And I hope that eventually I will maybe have like a individual session with you eventually.
Okay, and before those things, do me a
Mm-hmm.
favor, look through
Yeah.
everything that you have and say what works for me, what doesn't work for me, and what doesn't work for you, just burn it. And that, because it's a weight on your back, and you look at your study materials and say, holy smokes, do I have to do this all again? And no, you don't have to do it all again. Look what builds your confidence up and what brings it down, and set the stuff that brings you down and throw it to the wayside and say, what do I actually need for myself? Not what other people have told me that I should do based on the fact that it worked for them. I need to get in touch with who I am and know that I'm uniquely powered and have a superpower that no one else does. So I need to find the code to what I need to get the reward and get the gold inside of the chest.
Yeah. Couldn't have said it any better. Like I said before, you have to write a book, but I agree with you. I think that I definitely have to get rid of, like, I have to get rid of a lot of the material that I have gotten to, because like I think I have found myself in a spot where I don't know where to start anymore. Like this is my third time taking it. Now it's like, okay, I have this material, but now how do I study? Because then I feel that, okay, I know the content, and then I suddenly just forget all about it. I guess me being anxious also about the test. But I guess just finding like a way to overcome that anxiety, and then like, just hearing all the tips that everyone else is saying, I feel like it's going to be helpful in the next 2 months. So yeah.
I would forget the second attempt and do the exact same thing you did the first time because you were close.
Yes, I was very close. I was so upset about that. I was so close.
But I need you to get excited about being so close, because it means that you can get that close, if not exceed it, if you remember who you were then and need to sharpen yourself just a little bit and start leaning into the different moves that you've made. And you've made those changes, but you have to remember who you once were to get what you once had.
Yeah, thank you so much. I really think that this is definitely helpful. Just kind of like seeing how everyone else has experienced this, and then how, I'm not alone. And I think that that's the one thing that definitely makes it better. And I will definitely look into some more tips, and I really appreciate everything that you have done.
It is my pleasure. I appreciate all of the support that you've shown. And if you have any questions, continue to reach out and rock.
Yeah, no, thank you so much. I know you respond so quick and whenever you get a chance, so I really appreciate you and your time.
It is my pleasure.
Thank you.
Yep. All right. Keep getting 90s out of 170 on practice exams. I'm not sure where to begin or what to do.
My test is on Saturday. I feel okay. I don't, I feel like I can pass this test. I'm putting out a lot of positivity. I listened to your podcast, which really helped me a lot. Yes, shout out there, Fill in the Gap, best podcast ever. I listen to it when I'm at work, driving, and just hearing that really has put a lot of positivity and motivation in me. But I have, again, like I've been scoring in the 90s. I took the board exam, the ASW exam, that's like $85, and scored around the 90s. I think it was like a 92 when I needed a 96, something weird, or 98, I forget. And then I did the ASW book. I did their practice test as well, and I scored. And I think I I needed a 106 and I had a 98. And I'm just like, okay, my test is Saturday, and I don't know if I should do self-care as you talked about in your podcast, or if I should just keep reviewing. I'm just like, I don't know what to do.
Well, let me ask you this. We walk into the exam room. Prior to it, would you have wanted to study more, or would you have wanted to had self-care prior to taking the exam?
I feel like self-care is very important when it comes to taking this exam, since I feel like I've been studying since September. I feel like it's so like involved and a lot of information that you don't know what might not be on the test. Say medication is, but it's not there when you take it. So I feel like self-care is important, but I feel like knowing certain terminology before I take the test is more important. So that's where I'm at my like barrier, I feel like.
So my suggestion is to reflect on the things that you want to know prior to Saturday and then do self-care.
Okay.
Because you can do both. You don't have to do it independently. But if self-care is your like main focus, then we need to make sure that you do that prior to your exam, because we don't want you to have not done what you are intended to do or what your style is, and then be someone else in the exam.
That's true. It's very true.
So I would just reflect on what you want to study that stuff so that there's no gaps, and then do self-care leading up to the exam, because a couple of days aren't going to make or break something, because it's the stuff that has happened prior to these couple of days that's going to make the most impact.
That's very true. That makes a lot of sense with that, with doing self-care and doing both. Because I usually study for about like 6 hours each day. So now it's like, okay, now I'm cutting down to the wire. I'm in the process of studying and doing this. But I don't like, as the day goes on, like, I mean, I don't do anything for New Year's Eve. I'm boring. But, for the upcoming days, like, do I do the typical 6 hours of studying?
Do you feel that would be best for you, or do you think cutting it down would be better?
I don't know. Where I score poorly, not poorly, but I struggle with the ethics and professional relationships and a little bit of human development. So I don't know if I should just only focus on those two, or do everything, because you don't know what you're walking into on the test. That's what I feel.
So let go of the control of the things that you can't control or predict.
Yes.
All you simply need to do is say, I'm going to look over the code of ethics, and remember that getting 90s on a 170 question practice exam isn't far from passing. You don't have to get the 100%, because prior to what we have been taught in school and stuff, scores aren't everything. You don't have to get a 170 out of 170. You just simply have to get the score that your exam demands. And what that means is I'm going to trust myself that what I've done leading up to this exam is enough, and no stone is unturned, and I need to turn into the person I was intended to be during this exam. So questioning and second guessing and cutting myself down even before I get into the exam is going to lead to you being less of a version of what you could have been if you would have just stayed true to you and let happen what is supposed to happen.
I agree. Thank you so much. It's really what I need to hear. With all this studying, I feel a little overwhelmed, but then I'm like, but I appreciate it, Phil.
It is my pleasure. Thank you for sharing. And if you need anything, just reach out.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Hi, all. I've been studying on my own, my usual way to study. Also, my first time to join a group. Welcome. Do people find it beneficial to study with others? How do you go about this, or do you study alone? Also, I've not used Phil's videos before. Are they best done in order, or can they be randomly viewed? I don't have a test date yet, but was approved to take it last week. Yay!
Hello.
How is it going?
Hi, everyone. Yeah, I guess I just wanted, usually I do study on my own. Never been a fan of group work in school projects or anything. So I guess I just wanted to make sure to see this group video that Phil that you've been putting on. I missed the last one, so I put a timer today while getting everything ready for New Year's. I put a timer, so I'm really glad to be able to hear everyone's stories. I know with the holiday season and work and family and everything, it's hard, but everyone's putting in the work and the effort, and I just want to say that everyone is doing amazing. But yeah, I've been studying. I stopped halfway in the APGAR book just because it was just so overwhelming and it's just so much content. I write things out by hand because that's how I learn best, writing and reading things and writing it out in my own words, as other people have said. But I guess I just wanted to just hear or get any tips on how people have been studying, and if Phil's videos, if your videos are best to be done in order, or there's any particular rhyme or reason to how to study them. Yeah, and any other tips that people have. I've been looking at the comments, which have been helpful. But I think that's pretty much what I wanted to get a feel of the group today. So thank you again to everyone here and to Phil as well.
It is my pleasure. And my biggest thing for you is to trust what has worked for you in the past, because that's who you are. Not everyone needs to have a ton of people around them. And to be completely honest with you, like, what you have been doing is what you're supposed to be doing. Like, if you only study alone and it works best for you, you adding elements that quote unquote aren't you is going to lead you to have a prep that you're not actually comfortable with, and it's going to morph and change you into something that you would not actually want to be. As well as my videos don't really have an order. The only difference between the videos is how I look and little life updates, because it's based on when I uploaded it or recorded it. So there's no particular order. So if you start in any order, you'll still get the same benefit as if you started from the beginning to the end or the end to the beginning.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess I just, again, never been a group person, but today has been really helpful hearing everyone's stories and just everyone supporting each other and getting encouragement from you as well. Yeah, I think I'm just nervous because I graduated in September. Um, Paperwork obviously got lost for the master's exam, so I just recently was approved to put a date, and I'm just like waiting. I guess I'm waiting to like get back into the studying. I'm looking for employment, so I have the time. It's just like other people say, the motivation. But motivation, I guess, that'll come from the goals that we set for ourselves, for our loved ones. Yeah, I think that was it. It's been helpful to be able to share and even just to chat and read what other people are going through, and their tips have been helpful.
What do you do on Sundays?
What do I do on Sundays? Relax. I have to relax. Yeah. Because the studying, I was doing reading the book, sitting down, and I don't know why I wait till like the evenings. And so I think maybe since I don't have much to do on Sunday, I'm not maybe to study in the morning a little bit? I don't know. What do you suggest?
Well, I would suggest on the 5th that you join my study group at 7 o'clock as my guest.
That sounds good. And the study groups, what are those the ones that are paid, or those the
Mm-hmm.
ones that are for
Mm-hmm.
everyone to listen to?
Paid. So
Paid.
you're coming as my guest to see if group study will be helpful for you or not.
Mm, okay. Yeah. I mean, it's worth a shot. And that would be the link would be also on
So send me
the
an email.
apps. Okay. All right.
Send me an email and I'll get you squared away.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you so much, Phil. And again, everyone, even if it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes of self-care, of caring for yourself, of making sure, reaching out to people to say, you know what, this is what I need. And like if it's something like food, or someone reaches out to you, and I know for us, sometimes it's hard to accept help or ask for help too. Just make sure that you let people know what you need. And if you can't be there for the festivities because you want to study or you just want to have some you time, I think that's important too. Like Phil said, like do what's comfortable for you. Yeah, but I will definitely give it a shot about the group study for Sunday. Yeah.
Awesome. I'm happy to have you, and thank you for sharing and engaging.
Yeah. Thank you so much, everyone. Thanks, Phil.
Okay, Phil, I made it in, and I'm happy to share about taking and passing my exam yesterday.
Hi, I started writing some of this stuff in the chat, but I'm on an iPad, so it was taking too long. So this is Kayla, and I took my exam yesterday. And I think I was originally supposed to take it probably in like end of October. But I do what we all do and kind of keep putting it off and putting it off. But I probably started studying like a month or so before that. So it's been a few months that I've been studying, but like most of us, I work full time. So it's kind of challenging. I've studied mostly just on the weekends. And for me, I find that if I study too much, it's overkill. So I would just study, for like maybe a couple hours here and there on the weekends. Like maybe I would do a little bit in the morning for like 30 minutes or an hour, and then like later in the day go to the coffee shop for like an hour, hour and a half or something like that. But I got the APGAR book. I found the Kindle version for like $1 on eBay, and then just took notes from that because I find that to be helpful. And then also did the pocket prep. But then I was on some message board and found Phil's YouTube video, like a link to that. And of course, I didn't find that till like a week before my test. But I think I watched almost all the videos, and I did the most recent study group. And that to me was the most helpful because the exam is really about the questions, like breaking down the questions, just like Phil says. And so when I went into it yesterday, the main thing I thought about was what Phil has said, like, you should be confident, but you don't want to be overconfident, and you just want to think like, if I pass, that's great, and then that's going to be like taking another step. But also, if I don't pass, like there's still work to do. So either way, there's still work to do, and I'm just going to do my best. And so I just didn't let it like psych me out because I have really bad test anxiety, and I just tried to be calm. I like to study, like I didn't want to not study at all before the test, but I also, the test is really tiring. And even I did the practice test too, the like $85 one, which I found that to be very helpful, kind of in getting used to the format of like how the questions look in the computer program that they use. But, I took that probably like a week and a half, 2 weeks out from my test because I just didn't want to be like tired taking the test. And even yesterday, like I felt like the test takes a long time. So I took like a few breaks. I took like 3 breaks, and I still had plenty of time. And I just made it a point to look at the questions, break them down, and see that they're giving you information to try to help you get the answer. Like that was the biggest thing is, and I know Phil, you said this before, like there are certain things in the question that you got to pay attention to because like that's related to the answer. And I found that to be really true. And I did, well on the exam. So yeah, I would just say like try to be calm, and you're gonna start psyching yourself out and just be like, you know what? I'm just gonna do my best and like take a breath and just keep going. So yeah, but definitely I would say the study groups and all the videos, like super, super helpful. So that's all I got.
So if you were talking to somebody that said, I am unmotivated and I do not want to take this test, I'm about to reschedule, what would you say to them?
I would say, like, is it that you're really unmotivated and you don't feel prepared, or is that you're just scared? Because if you're just scared, like, just take it and see how you do. I know it's $250, and that freaking sucks if like have to pay that again. But at the same time, like, you're not gonna know if you can do it until you do it. So, unless you are like just bombing and getting every single question wrong that you're doing on your practice stuff, like if you feel like you're at a midway point, I would still take it. Like I would still give it your best try.
Okay. Any last words of encouragement or anything that you would want to share with someone?
Yeah, like, I mean, the test is not out to get you. It really is like just you got to look at the question, break the question down. There's a lot of different types of questions. Mine wasn't all just, one specific thing. So, if you're worried about like that, I found that it was kind of a variety of things, and you're not going to know everything. Like it's too much freaking information. So don't feel like you have to be an expert of everything. Like just kind of know the basics. I got in there, got my little whiteboard, wrote out the acronym, wrote out Erickson's thing, which I didn't even use, but I had memorized it, but really just like do what's going to make you feel comfortable, and just, like trust that you're going to do your best, and that's all that you can do.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you for coming back and sharing your experience.
Sure. Oh, and the acronym, I just saw somebody ask, that's Phil's acronym with the like S, fair, fee, or whatever, safety, feelings. You definitely want that one. You'll use that a lot.
Awesome. And if you need anything else in the future or anything, just let me know, okay?
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Awesome.